Hello, and welcome to episode 17 of the Life and Finances Together podcast. We want to thank our audience members who have liked and subscribed and encourage you to make that click today if you haven't already. On today's episode, our financial professionals, Roger and Jake, will be discussing a topic that comes up in every financial planning meeting, Social Security, a benefits program that we've all paid into through our working years and that we are all duly owed and even expect as part of our retirement income. It's an important topic, so let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about Social Security.
I love the fact that when Chelsea brought this up, she says money that we are owed. I can't agree more than with that statement. I'll tell you what, we paid into this system for a long period of time. It's one of the things that clients talk about so much. Is it going to be around? What am I going to get? What are the things I need to consider? So today we're going to talk about two of the key components that Social Security is based on. And then we're going to talk about the two big questions. The first one that Jake's going to take, do I take it early? Should I take it early? Does it make sense? And I'm going to talk about, should I delay it? Maybe I don't want it right now. But the two key components that everybody needs to understand is the FRA and the PIA. So the FRA is our full retirement age. Used to be 65 for everybody. I think they changed this thing back in the early 80s. For Jake and I, we're at 67, right? And the young guys got the same full retirement age as me. I'm feeling pretty young today.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, so the PIA is the primary insurance amount, and that's the value of your benefit at your full retirement age. Those are the two things that everything in Social Security is kind of calculated around. So you need to understand those two things. Those are two key components that you need to be aware of as you begin to look at Social Security and start making some of these key decisions. So do we take it early? What do we do?
Yeah, it's, when we advise clients, it really is plan specific as to when is the optimal time to take, and we'll look at different options. But a lot of the reasons why people may start taking their Social Security early is because they may need the income right away. Right? When we look at their financial plan, if they're retiring early and they don't have any other income sources, they may need that income. They may also decide, hey, I may not need the income right now, but like Chelsea said, and like you had referenced as well, it is owed to me. I may as well start taking the income now. I might want to invest it. Instead of just having it sit there and not earn any interest, let me start receiving this income and investing it in some sort of investment vehicle so it can earn a little bit more, right? You may also want to start taking yours early if it behooves you to delay your spouse's benefit. So your spouse may have a larger benefit based on their working credits, the amount that they've paid into the system. It may be more beneficial to delay theirs so they get more of an increase in their pay, so you may want to take yours sooner. And the biggest thing as well, and this is when it comes to sources of income in retirement, taking your Social Security alleviates the need to withdraw more from your retirement savings on the front end of retirement.
Right.
So the ability to forego taking excess withdrawals out of your IRA, your non-qualified investment account, allows more money to stay in that account and compound and grow further into retirement. We always like to say your spouse or your heirs can inherit your investment accounts from you. They cannot inherit your Social Security from you.
Right.
So it's something that allows you to keep money in the account and keep it growing.
And Social Security doesn't do a good job. If you go to a conference or a webinar or workshop with Social Security, they don't bring that into the mix.
No, exactly.
They're not talking about that at all. They say that's our job as the financial advisor to do that, right? So when you're looking at that, there's some things that we do in the office, and we do that break even, right?
Yeah.
We do the calculation on the cash flow.
Yep, exactly right. So we'll always do a break even, and we've got an example here on the screen for you just to kind of see what an example of a break even might look like if you are deciding to take Social Security early. Now, this is really everything in a vacuum here when we're looking at the numbers, but the example we have here is an individual with a full retirement age of 67, which really is anyone from Roger's age to even my age. We're all kind of stuck in this
I love it.
67
I
age.
love it. He's a few years younger than me, as you can see, and we still have the same full retirement age right there at 67.
Yeah.
I'm feeling young today.
Yeah, exactly. So in this example, we've got an individual whose PIA, the primary insurance amount at FRA, full retirement age, is $1,500. But you can see that if they decided to take their Social Security benefit early, they're going to receive $1,050 a month, right? When you look at the math on the screen, what this shows is if you decide to take it early, you need to essentially, and we always joke, you need to know when you're going to die, wink, wink, to know if you're making the right decision or not. This was the right move if you passed before 78 and 8 months. If you live beyond that point, then it was not a good move, right? So you need to have the foresight, we joke, but that's really what it comes down to. If you're going to take it early, in a vacuum, this is the analysis kind of behind the break even. Now, on top of that, there's also what you need to factor in on taking early if you're going to be still working, right? If you're going to retire from your main job but do some part-time work, if you're going to go be a starter at a golf course, whatever it may be, if you're underneath that full retirement age, you have to make sure you know how much you're going to earn. In 2025, the earnings limit is $23,400. So if you know that you're going to earn close to or more than that, it may actually behoove you to delay further as well and not take earlier because you don't want your benefits to be reduced. So there's a lot of different factors that go into this.
And if you run into a situation where, oops, I didn't think I was going to have any earned income, and now I do, and maybe you're over that threshold that Jake was talking about, you're going to definitely want to get a hold of Social Security and let them know in advance, right? Because they're going to start reducing your benefit. What do they reduce that by? It's like $1 for
every $2 earned, every $3
over the threshold,
over the different thresholds.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So there is a reduction, and on top of that, the taxation of your benefit too, right? Your benefit is taxable. Either 50 or 85% of it will be taxable, but then there can be reduction on top of that. So we want to try to coordinate it as best as we can. Another common misconception that will kind of end the discussion on taking early is people think in this example, from age 62 until age 67, I'm going to receive $1,050 a month. But once I reach that full retirement age 67, now I'm going to get that increase of $1,500. Well, that's not the case. You are locking in that lower payment for the rest of your life. So that is a common misconception that people think, hey, I'm going to have a reduced amount for the first few years, then it gets bumped up. Well, that's not the case.
Yeah, so for like you and I, we take a 30% hit if we take it at 62.
Exactly.
Right? I'm not getting that back when I get back to 67, right?
No, it's a permanent reduction. So you got to make sure if you're going to take it early that it is the correct decision, and the only way you know that is through planning.
Yeah, and the other thing too is be careful with when it comes to saying I want to take it early. We get a lot of clients that will say, I'm taking it early. I paid into this thing, and I want my money. Right? Well, you've got to do a little bit more planning and coordinating. And I'm with you. We paid into this thing, and we'd like to have our money, right? We want to receive the benefit of all the years of paying those taxes. But you got to be careful. Because it may not make sense to do it. Then you've got the big question is, do I delay? Right? Mm-hmm. And there's this attractive little thing called DRCs, or delayed retirement credits. And it's an 8% non-compounded bump every year that you delay past your full retirement age. I mean, so for me at 67, I could have an increase that's roughly around 24%. Pretty awesome, right? But there's a lot of other factors to consider other than just these delayed retirement credits. So why would you delay? Well, maybe I'm still working. And when you get to full retirement age, there's one nice little thing. You can make as much money as you want and not have to worry about your benefits on Social Security being reduced. Now, in the year that you turn full retirement age, there's a little bit of a calculation. There's an income threshold in that year you have to be concerned about. But we're not getting into that today. But when you're looking at beyond your full retirement age, make as much money as you want, and you can take your Social Security benefits with no reduction. So that's one thing to consider. But if you're earning income and you don't need it, why take it? Get the delayed retirement credits. Maybe you want to leave a larger benefit to your spouse. So if you have a large benefit and your spouse maybe has a small benefit, when you pass away, the surviving spouse, your spouse is going to maybe receive the larger of the two benefits. Okay, so maybe you want to enhance that benefit. Maybe increase it by delaying. Right? He or she is then going to get this larger number. That's another thing. Maybe you're going to try to coordinate your spouse taking their benefits and you delaying, right, while you're alive. For what reason? Have increased income while both of you are retired, right? So the other thing too is maybe you just don't want to take the benefits and have it subject to higher income taxes, right? Because you're still earning income. So those are things to consider. it's not just this real easy decision because your neighbor over the fence told you, oh, I did it, so you really need to do it. There's this 8% jump. You've got to do the math. When we look at the chart here on the screen, we're looking at someone who has a full retirement age of 67. And they're receiving, at their full retirement age, their PIA is $4,018. Now, if they delay, all right, they delay until they're 70 to start taking their benefits, that benefit goes north of $4,900. So again, like in Jake's example, when we're looking at this in a vacuum, there's a little bit of a calculation there in the chart that we provided, and you could very easily plug in those numbers. When did it make sense in this scenario to delay? Well, it was the right move if you live past 82 and a half years old. So again, it comes back to this magical number of, I know when I'm going to die, and I'm going to make the right move. We say that kind of jokingly, but another few considerations too. Do I have longevity? My grandparents, my parents, right? Do they live well into their 90s? This could be a determining factor in whether you decide whether you want to delay or not. But there's a lot of other things. You have to do the math. You have to look at the break even, not only like in the chart that we provided, but also in your financial plan, looking at the impact of your investment savings. That's one of the key things to look at. And if that break even is way out there, maybe in your late 80s or even 90s, well, then you got something to consider. You got to look at this thing before you make the decision based upon rule of thumb. When you're coordinating your benefits and looking at all these different factors as it relates to Social Security and incorporating them into your plan, that's when you know that you've truly done the work to bring life and finances together.
Thanks so much for watching, for listening, and for learning about Social Security with us today. For questions about our financial services or finances in general, please check out our website. That's reinfeldtdavid.com. Send us an email, give us a call, and of course, please like and subscribe to our podcast and stay tuned for our next episode.
This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only and is not intended as personal financial advice. Before making any financial decision, please do your own research and consult a financial advisor as needed.